When it comes to taking care of your health, it's more than just what you put in your mouth. Sometimes it's what you put on your skin, because our skin functions as a third kidney. What we put on our skin can get into our system, can impact our metabolic process, how we feel, how we operate, how we detox, all of those things. So today I am really delighted to welcome back my guest, Trina Felber. She was on before talking about dental care, amazing products, super clean, really wonderful for the oral microbiome. And today we're going to dive in and talk about skincare. Before we do, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about her. Trina Felber is the founder and CEO of Primal Life Organics. As a registered nurse with a master's degree in anesthesia, Trina disrupted the beauty industry and exposed the hyper-toxic personal care products poisoning us by Big Cosmo. She started her natural dental and skincare company in 2008 and puts her nurses' care into every product she makes. Trina is a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur and the best-selling author of Beauty's Dirty Secret. She has made the Inc. 5000 list 5 years in a row and has been featured in Dr. Oz, Paleo Magazine, ABC, CBS, like all the biggies. And she's also been on hundreds of podcasts worldwide. Trina, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Mira, thank you for welcoming me back. I had such a great conversation, mouthing off with you about dental health. My second love is skincare, because everyone wants to look their best. You know, it's so important that you love the skin you're in. So I'm excited to chat with you.
You know, I think one of the things that's so challenging, unfortunately, is so many of us get hooked at a young age on like this line or that line, and we buy the whole system, you know, all 34 steps or whatever it is, but we don't often take the time to look at what's in it. And we don't necessarily realize what we're doing to our skin by doing that. You know, can you talk a little bit about what an ideal skincare routine really looks like?
Absolutely. And I loved what you said about your skin being your third kidney, but it's also, because that's the elimination part, but it's also your second gut. It's the second way that you eat things. So, you know, it's true that whatever's in those little pretty little bottles, they make them look so pretty. You know, if you look at the ingredients and you wouldn't pour it down your throat, then you really shouldn't put it on your skin. Here's the difference in what you eat versus what you put on your skin. It's more dangerous if your skincare products are toxic than if you eat something that's got some things in it that your body shouldn't have in it. Here's why. When you eat something, your body has a protective organ that filters everything. So it's your liver. When you digest things, it goes, the toxins or the everything, your blood, it gets into your blood, it goes to your liver to pull out the things that are not supposed to be in your body. It converts things that are oil soluble, meaning they can pass through your linings, they can pass through, you know, different tissues. They might not be healthy for you, but they convert these things that your body shouldn't have, or an excess. If there's too much of something in your body, even if it is something that's healthy for you, some vitamins are like this. They convert it to something that's water soluble, so then your kidneys can excrete it, or you can eliminate it in your feces as you're, you know, excreting. The problem with skincare is that there's a couple problems. One of the main problems is when you absorb something through your skin, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream. It gets absorbed into your the blood that's returning to your heart. Ooh. And the blood that's returning to your heart gets in your heart. Think of this as your heart, and it pumps everywhere. It doesn't have a direct line to your liver. Your heart's not going directly to your liver. It's going to your brain. It's going to your lungs. It's going to your uterus if you're a female. It's going to your kidneys. It's going everywhere. The problem is your heart's not detoxifying anything. So those toxins, those chemicals that you're absorbing through your skin, even if they're not as potent, you know, the beauty industry wants you to think, oh, there's just a little bit in there. It's not hurtful to you. It's not harmful. What they're not telling you is that tiny little amount gets entered into your bloodstream full strength, And not just that one, but most of the time there's 12 to 20, sometimes 30 toxins in one product getting loaded into your vascular system, getting pumped straight from your heart to every organ in your body. And we wonder why we don't feel good. And it has a lot to do with diet. But if you've been someone who's cleaned up your diet and you still can't feel good, your skincare could be the other reason. So the main thing I tell people is you've got to be putting things on your skin that's real food. It's got to be something that you would, be able to put in your mouth if you had to. And that's the real difference between skincare and your gut.
And I love that you point out, because this is so true with food and obviously true with personal care products as well. The standards are so many parts per million is not a bad thing, and it's okay because it's just a tiny bit. But who's keeping track of all those tiny bits? And then for some of them, I know that there are layers of toxicity. Certain things exacerbate the toxic impact of other things. And I don't remember the number, but I do remember being very startled at one point to read that the average female, and they used females because we tend to put more stuff on us, the average female is exposed to something ridiculous like 150 different toxins before she gets to her first cup of tea in the morning.
Yeah, well, when you think about what women use, so by the time you've walked out the door, whether you're going to drop your kids off at school and you've gotten yourself ready, or you're going to work, you've probably brushed your teeth, you've washed your face or your whole body, you might have washed your hair, you might have styled your hair. Those all are products that potentially are dangerous to you. Chances are you've put makeup on to some degree. Most women will walk out and put makeup on, maybe not as much as pre-pandemic, but we're still using makeup. Most makeup, even if it's considered a mineral-based makeup, it's toxic. Mineral makeup is toxic for reasons we can get into. But women tend to use a lot of products. Men, not so much, because they're not putting as much, they're not like product junkies like us. Not that that's a bad thing, because you can convert every single one of those products to something that's a healthy version of that. When you're talking about 150, yes, it makes sense, because if you just take 10 products, most women, by the time they walk out the door, they've used 10 products. And if you're using something that's mainstream, each product has 10 to 20 toxins in it. So if you multiply the average, let's say 15 being the average number of products, or the average number of toxins, whichever you want, times 10, that's 150 toxins you've polluted your body with first thing in the morning. And we wonder why we have brain fog. We wonder why we can't concentrate. We wonder why we're exhausted by 2 p.m. A lot of it has to do with we're just polluting our body and we're not even realizing it.
And, one of the things that you mentioned, which is so hard for so many people, because I know there are a lot of people out there who try to look for good quality, soaps and shampoos and to try and find a cleanser that's as good. Makeup is one of the hardest things to find. So I would love to hear your take on why mineral makeup is not bad. And this is from someone who's like, okay, what did I just do? But I'd really like to know.
So mineral makeup, and there's not a lot of alternatives. So what I usually tell women, I used to make my own makeup brand, and we just discontinued it very recently. I don't know whether I'll bring it back eventually or not. We just didn't have it. We weren't making enough of it. I can't get women to quite understand this yet. So maybe if women start emailing us and going, oh my gosh, I need your makeup, maybe we'll make it again. All of my makeup was made out of clay, and the colors came from like foods, like berries, like hibiscus and roses. So the colors were really cool. It was a beautiful makeup line. I couldn't get women to buy in. Women just want to put toxins. And the reason being, most women are, if they've switched from the mainstream, like beauty counter type of stuff, they have switched to something that they believe is natural because it's considered mineral makeup. But mineral makeup was coined, I think it was in the 1980s or 1990s. It was a term coined by Bare Minerals, and it really was a marketing ploy. And they didn't realize how big it was going to be. But they called it mineral makeup because they figured that women would think that it was healthy and natural. And they did. Women bought into it. Hook, line, and sinker, the best marketing ploy ever. In reality, mineral makeup, here's the process minerals have to go through. In order to be used in cosmetics, minerals have to be washed. They're washed in toxic chemicals, chemicals that are endocrine disruptors. They cause cancer. They're allergens, so they're going to cause acne, rosacea, all sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they wash them in these chemicals, and they can't wash those chemicals off. So these minerals that are beautiful, they're what gives the makeup the color, the bright colors or the dark colors. These minerals are put in, even if it's good stuff, even if it's organic oils, it's blended in these oils, and the chemicals then saturate the entire product, all the minerals or all the oils. And then when you're putting it on your skin, you're wearing it all day, and all day long as you're wearing it, you're absorbing these toxins into your skin. So women that have suffered with, there's so many women that have problems with fertility, that have problems losing weight. Your thyroid and your hormones, your fertility hormones are all created, and part of the hormone disruptors that are used in skincare disrupt both those things. So we're seeing an increase in thyroid problems. We're seeing an increase in infertility, and no one's looking at the root cause. No one's looking at the root cause of what we're slathering on our skin. And as women, we're putting it on our face all day long.
So I have to ask, what is a reasonable alternative? Because I know a lot of people really do try, I remember a long time ago, you wouldn't go out unless you'd put on a foundation and like 94 different things on your face, eyeshadow, brow liner, lip liner, blush, all of that. And now most people are like, oh, I'm just like a little mascara and some lipstick. But it sounds like even that is maybe not necessarily great. What's a better option?
Well, I always tell people minimum, go with the minimal of what you really need. And honestly, as we get older, less is actually more. The more makeup that you wear, the older that you look. And really, when I tell people, if you want to look 10 years younger, the first thing I would suggest that you do is skip the eye makeup, skip it altogether. I don't even think skip the mascara, skip all of it. And here's why. When we were 12, 13, 14 years old, and we would sneak into our mom's, cabinet and pull out our makeup. Remember putting the makeup on? The first thing that we put on to make ourselves look older was the eye makeup. You put the heavy blues and you make your eyes, and it does it. The eye makeup makes you look older. So just by skipping the eye makeup altogether, you're going to drop a couple years off of what you look like. So less is more. I wish I had a safe alternative. There's really no company out there that was making makeup like I made it. So I don't really have a good solution. I wish I did. What I need is for people to be more interested in it and start emailing us and saying, I'm interested in your makeup. Can you bring it back? Sometimes what we do is we'll do a short run. The tricky thing about makeup is you have to make shades. Not everybody is the same shade, obviously.
Color, right.
Yeah. So it gets tricky with that. But what we did, I made a clay-based makeup, and clay is amazing for the skin. It absorbs oils, but it also neutralizes or balances oil. So it's not going to be pulling anything out of your skin. It's actually just going to be normalizing your skin. So people that used to have really oily skin would then use my makeup and be like, oh my gosh, I can go all day and I don't even have a shine. And it's amazing. Oil is very cleansing. It's cleansing for the body, and it's very normalizing. It's not going to pull too much. It's only going to pull what's not needed. So I love clay. I mean, I use it in my tooth powder and my toothpaste, use it in my face. I have some face products that I use clay in, a face wash, a face mask. And then we also have a exfoliator that we use sugar and clay in as well. So it's very cleansing.
And, actually that brings up a really important point, because I remember, you and I go to some of the same conferences. And I remember having a conversation with you at one point, and you were like, really, the best thing you can do for your face is just use a really great moisturizer, and so that your skin is taken care of. And so what do you have, like cleansers and moisturizers in your beauty line? Like, what
yes.
kind of do you have?
Yeah. I have a couple different cleansers, and I have a couple different moisturizers and serums or elixirs. Those are the liquidy ones, the ones that are straight oil. And I know a lot of people out there, a lot of women have a belief that oil is bad for their skin. It's going to make their skin clog, and they're
Oh,
going
sure. We
to
grew up with that whole T-zone thing.
yeah, right. And there was like, don't put oil on your skin. It's going to make it worse. In reality, oil on your skin is actually going to make your skin normalize and balanced. What's happening when we're using the alcohols and water, I get asked all the time, what's the worst ingredient in skincare? And people expect me to say, oh, fragrance. Yeah, fragrance is horrible. Fragrance is one of those things that when you're talking about those toxins and how many toxins are in each product, fragrance alone is it's considered a trade secret. So companies don't have to disclose what makes up their fragrance. So if you see fragrance listed on that, whatever it is, it's in face washes, it's in face moisturizers, it's in everything. Fragrance might alone have 10 to 20 toxins in it.
Wow.
And you would never even know it. There's no way to find out. So if you see fragrance, that's one of the biggest no-nos. So people always expect me to say fragrance is the worst ingredient that you can ever put on your skin. And really, I don't know if you want to guess. Do you know what my number one ingredient is? Because it's not fragrance.
I'm going to say the water.
Yes, yay. Yes, water.
Right.
Yay. That blows everybody's mind because the water seems so innocent and people think, oh my gosh, that's like natural. I wash my face with water. And then while you do wash your face with water, and it's okay to wash your face with water, what happens when you're putting it in a moisturizer and then putting it on your skin, water evaporates. So you have to think about when you're sitting in a pool or a tub too long and you start to get that, wrinkly skin. Water pulls moisture out of your skin and it leaves you looking older. It leaves you with wrinkled skin or dehydrated skin. Anytime your skin is dehydrated, you're going to see wrinkles far faster. One of the fastest ways to look younger is to put oil on your skin because oil is going to actually absorb in. Your cells go like from this, like a pancake from being so dehydrated to like this. Ooh. Now think about what that does to your wrinkles. Like if you've got wrinkles when you're like this, now you've just like plumped them up naturally. And it stays, that hydration level stays. So oil-based skincare is 100% the only way to go. So if you're looking at your products, and I dare every single person listening to look at your products today, if water is listed as the number one ingredient, it's time to ditch it. You're living in the 80s. You need to come back to 2020, this realm where we know things now and we have better alternatives. The main thing is to make sure that, here's the other reason water is bad before I skip off of water. Water in itself isn't good for your skin for the reasons that I talked about. Not only does it dehydrate your skin, it disrupts your microbiome. The sebum, that natural oily layer that your body produces, houses bacteria, healthy bacteria, just like bacteria inside your mouth. If you listen to our other podcasts that we did, good bacteria inside your mouth fights off the bad bacteria. Good bacteria on your skin helps keep it at a level. It's called your acid mantle layer. And that acid mantle helps protect your skin and prevent the bad bacteria from growing. Bad bacteria causes acne. It causes psoriasis. It causes all sorts of skin-related issues that nobody ever puts two and two together. So water disrupts that. It actually gets rid of your good sebum, dehydrates your skin. Oh. But the other reason is that water in itself, typically in skincare, is tap water. I call it crap water. You're putting crap water on your skin. And believe it or not, I've looked at formulas. When water is listed as the first ingredient, it is typically between 70 and 90% water, which means you take a glass of water. Like if I take this, I have my water bottle here. Think about what 90% of this water bottle is. It's probably the amount of water that's left in here. And then they fill the rest, the last 10% with other ingredients. But they don't just fill it with good ingredients. Actually, what they do is if you have water and oil, because oil is the only ingredient that will go through your skin. Your skin is it's lipo loving. It's water loving, or it's oil loving. Yeah, and it resists water. Yeah, it's oil loving. So oil is the only ingredient that will pull through and actually absorb into your skin. but oil and water don't mix. So they have to put emulsifiers in here. They have
Yeah.
to put things in here that keep it blended. And the emulsifiers are typically toxic. They usually cause cancer. We know that they are endocrine disruptors, all sorts of things. On top of that, bacteria grows in water. So what they have to do is put heavy preservatives. They have to put preservatives in there that are going to fight the bacteria, keep it stable so it can sit on a shelf. Not once you open it. Once you open it, those it doesn't matter that bacteria gets in there. It's so that it can sit on a shelf for a long, long time. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 years sometimes. So, and on top of that, there's other things, fillers. You don't want your moisturizer being this thin, right?
Yeah.
So they have to put fillers in there as well. And most fillers are toxic. So when you're talking about an ingredient that has water in it, you have to stop and think, what am I really putting on my skin? I'm actually
the water too. I mean, you were saying that it's tap water. And so that means we're looking at, chlorines, fluorides,
heavy metals, all heavy metals,
other people's birth control that they peed out.
So birth control and antidepressants, those are thyroid medication. When you think of the top drugs that a lot of people are on, like worldwide, your top would be your birth control, thyroid medications, antidepressants. There's also chemotherapy type drugs. So all of that gets in our water systems. All of that ends up, thank God this isn't tap water, but ends up in tap water. Heavy metals, nuclear, radioactive type things, that stuff can't be processed out. They're using tap water. So that ends up on your skin. Here's what the interesting thing is. When you're putting water on your skin, and the water evaporates because water isn't in the moisturizer. Pretend this is a moisturizer. You put it on your skin. You feel like, oh, it's got something in it that's going to prevent aging. Yet you've got 20 times the other ingredients that are causing premature aging, including the water itself. Yeah. The water evaporates. All of those toxins that were the birth control pills, the antidepressants, thyroid medication, all of that becomes hyper concentrated. Yeah. Think about when in high school, when you had a beacon and you had stuff in the water and then you boiled it and what was left was the sediment at the bottom and that was all the stuff. Well, that's what happens when you put it on your skin. The water evaporates, but all that other crap becomes hyper concentrated. And then the oils that were in here, plus mixed with any oil in your skin, attaches to those things and pulls them into your body. And now all of a sudden you've got a crapshoot of all this stuff getting into your bloodstream, going straight to your heart, which then feeds it everywhere. And we wonder why we don't feel good. We wonder why we keep using the same thing on our face and we keep getting the same results and we still look older and older. And really that water should just be replaced with organic oils,
The other thing that's crazy about this is no one tells you this. Like what we get are these very slick advertising campaigns geared towards, trying to convince us that we need all of this stuff. So that really in and of itself is a challenge because everywhere you turn, there are ads for all of this, or there, these beauty campaigns or everything else. So it's really astonishing to think about how little we know about something we take for granted that we should be doing every day.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just reviewing my, 5 pillars for beautiful skin. The lies that Big Cosmo tells you in the marketing campaigns that you're going to look younger because they put X, Y, and Z in there, but they don't tell you that they put water and all the fillers and all the crap in there as well. But there are 5, there's actually 6, but 5 pillars of beautiful skin that Big Cosmo isn't telling you. Do you want me to go through these?
Yes,
do you want to know what they are?
Absolutely, please.
These are the things that will actually make you look younger. I'll be 54 in a couple months. And, once I converted my skincare products, my acne went away, my oily skin went away, and my skin became very, very healthy and looks younger. I don't get wrinkles. I don't get any, discolorations or anything like that. I rarely get a breakout. But there are 5 pillars of beautiful skin. And these are the types of things that when I was making my skincare, I'm a nurse, I want to make sure that I'm making the best products that will ultimately allow your body to be in its natural state. If we allow our body to be in its natural state and to function the way it's supposed to, We don't have to worry about detoxification. It happens. Your body does it. We don't have to worry about producing the right hormones and producing the right oils and things like that. Your body automatically does that. And you always will look and feel your best when your body is optimally functioning the way it's supposed to. So what I've done is put together, the 5 pillars of beautiful skin. These are the 5 things that your skin needs in order to continue looking younger. The first thing is blood flow. Keep in mind, these are things that no skincare company is addressing. Yeah. Blood flow. Blood flow will ensure that oxygen gets to your skin, nutrients gets to your skin, but also all the cell waste, when, any waste gets carried away, detoxification gets carried away. No skincare products out there are increasing blood flow. I do have a couple products that I do make that actually increase blood flow. I use cayenne pepper. I have a fire and ice face treatment system that uses cayenne pepper that will increase blood flow to your skin so that then the nutrients can be delivered from the skincare products, but also from your blood flow. So increasing blood flow is extremely important in keeping your skin looking young and looking healthy. Hydration. That's the other, number 2. We talked a little bit about this with water. So if you're using a water-based product and they're telling you it's moisturizing and hydrating your skin and going to make you look younger, you are buying, that's what they're selling you. But what you're really buying is dehydrated skin, premature aging, and all the problems that go with it. So what they are selling you is completely different than what you're buying. And I do
from the inside out instead of trying to hydrate from the outside in.
Well, but hydrating from the outside means using oils, using it oil based. So you do need to stay hydrated from the, inside, drinking enough water. That's extremely important. But hydrating from the outside means not dehydrating, not putting water-based products on your skin, allowing that acid mantle layer to build up in your sebum and your own oil production, using oils that absorb in with the nutrients. Red raspberry seed oil has a natural SPF of between 30 and 50. It's my primary ingredient in my sun protection. And it's also in a couple of my face moisturizers or serums. But red raspberry seed oil is loaded with antioxidants. These are things that will help fight off free radicals. Free radicals cause oxidative stress, cause premature aging. So if you're putting nutrients on your skin, you're going to get the look and feel of hydrated and nourished skin. That's really the goal, is you want to be hydrated, you want to be nourished. So hydration is number 2. The third pillar is muscle tone. As we get younger, now you think about, my daughter's going to be 14 this summer, and she's got these beautiful high cheekbones. She's just got skin that sits on it. So nice. Nothing's drooping. As we get older, we lose our animation. When you think about teenagers, oh my gosh, how cute is he? They're always using the muscles of their face. They're animated. Little kids are animated. Here we are, as the older we get, hi. We sit in front of a computer all day. We never use our face muscles. We rarely, when we smile, we're like, hi. You've got to start over animating, and people will love you. Your personality will shine. And your muscles will start to be used again. You can do face yoga. There's some different types of exercises you can use as well. I make a face wand. It's called a face sculptor. It uses sonic current. I don't think I have one around me right now, but it uses sonic current. And what it does is you're using it. I teach you how to use it to do your own facelift. I was a nurse anesthetist for about 7 years, and I did numerous facelift surgeries. And I've almost lost 2 women during facelifts. And I swore that if I ever could create something that women would not feel the need to go under the knife and still be able to maintain their youthful skin, I would totally do it. And then I did. I created, it's called my non-surgical facelift kit. And in the kit are the products that you need: face wash, 2 elixirs or serums, 1 for the morning, 1 for nighttime, and then an exfoliator as well. But the wand is it uses sonic vibration. So the sonic vibration is going to be stimulating the muscles of your skin. And it's going to help with the hydration and the blood flow as well. So it hits all 5 of these. As you're doing it, I teach you the technique on how to do it to create your own facelift. but it stimulates the muscles. And think about when you're working out or when you've done like an electrical type stimulation to your muscles and you feel that contraction, that little contraction, relaxation builds back the strength of those muscles, will build back not just like the cheekbone and your eyes to like get rid of some of the wrinkles here, but when I teach you how to do it, I teach you how to stimulate the muscles all the way around your hairline. If you can stimulate those, guess what you do? You give yourself a facelift over time. Now, it's not an instant facelift and it's not going to happen overnight, but over time, as you do this, you just stimulate this and you can lift your eyes. I actually teach you, you can do right here, just hold the wand to your eye and you hold it and it's going to stimulate the muscles of your eye. And over time, you just get skin that looks healthy, but can also the muscles get retrained to build, and that building of the muscle. Think about anybody, a bodybuilder. When you stop building muscle, when you stop working out, you become a little bit, your muscles like deflate. As soon as you start to build muscle back up, it starts to inflate. And then you see your arms look a lot toner. Your skin starts to fill out a little bit. Same thing on your face. So that's number 3, muscle tone. We have 42 muscles of our face, by the way, and probably on an average day, we use about 5. So we got some work to do, ladies. Collagen and elastin are the last 2. Collagen and elastin are collagen makes your skin or the tissue feel bouncy. So when you're looking at it or feeling it, it should feel like there's something there, not just like so thin that there's nothing there. So collagen gives you that little substance. Elastin is like a rubber band. So it allows it to spring out and spring back into place so that when, you don't get those muscles, you don't get the droopiness, it stays. As we get older, starting in around our late 20s, early 30s, our collagen and elastin start to droop. They start to go downhill. We don't really see it until we're in our late 30s. That's when we're like, oh no, I'm starting to see those wrinkles around my eyes. The good news is you can stimulate collagen and elastin. The facial wand that I produce will stimulate collagen and elastin. Muscle movement will as well. So doing face yoga, become more animated. Just when you're putting your moisturizer on, use the pads of your finger, not the nails, but give yourself a face massage. That's going to increase blood flow. It's going to get the juices going. It's going to stimulate collagen and elastin. Over time, you will notice that your skin looks better. So collagen and elastin, there's also what's really, really cool. There are some natural ingredients that stimulate collagen production and inhibit the breakdown of collagen. And I have those 2 ingredients in my carrot seed moisturizer and elixir. One of them is bakuchi oil, and marula. Bakuchi oil, I want to say bakuchi oil stimulates, I could have these backwards, one stimulates the production of collagen, the other one inhibits the enzyme that breaks it down. So what that means is while you're doing everything else that I'm teaching you to do, you do your face wand, you're doing some face yoga or massaging or being more animated, all of those things with these 2 ingredients means that as you're producing more collagen, it's going to hang around a lot longer before it's broken down because the enzyme is inhibited. So it's really kind of cool. These are natural things that are out there. They're plant-based. They're healthy. You're not going to be getting all of the toxic things that, tap water is going to be giving you. And it doesn't take long for you to see the results. And I know women that are in their 60s and 70s that made the switch to the oil-based products, and they're like, wow, people notice very quickly that you're doing something different. Your skin has a glow, and it all of a sudden starts to feel and look like it's healthy again.
That is fabulous. Oh my gosh, this has been so much amazing information. And I think the other thing is I love that you're on a mission to share this, because this is information that's not very easy for people to come by. Certainly it's not out there in the world. So they need to come to people like you and people like me who interview people like you in order to be able to get that. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. And if someone wanted to connect with you to get your wand or some of your products or whatever, how would they find you guys?
Primal Life Organics is how they find. And Mira, I can give you a discount code if anyone's,
Oh, that'd be
wants to
great.
try anything. Yeah, I'll just email it to you and you can post it in the show notes.
Sure.
But if
We'll
anyone's
put that down
interested,
below and everybody can take advantage of that.
yeah, and I can send you the facelift kit, the link directly to that, because women just go crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You get the whole kit. The instructions on how to use it. My team is always there, support at primallifeorganics.com to help you out if you have any questions. I have plenty of videos. And I'll get you a special code for that because I'll give a little bit more of a discount on that. So I'll give that to you so that
Oh,
your
thank
listeners,
you.
yeah. Mhm.
That sounds great. Well, this has been really fascinating. I learned so many things. I've got a whole page of notes here. This is really great. Thank you so much for your time and your knowledge. I appreciate that. And folks, I'll have all those links down below, and be sure to check out Primal Life Organics and all of the wonderful things that Trina offers so that you can stop putting toxins on your face, on your body, and make a shift to a healthier skincare routine. Thanks again for joining us. Take care, and we'll talk with you later. Bye.